Have you ever noticed how some things in your home just take up space, but you can't seem to let them go? As the years drift by, it's easy for clutter to build up: old furniture, stacks of papers, sentimental items tucked away in dusty corners. But here's the truth: before you reach the milestone of 70, there are certain household items you absolutely must declutter. And doing so isn't just about creating more physical space. It's about crafting a home that feels lighter, easier to manage, and more in tune with the vibrant life you still want to live. In this video, we're diving into 6 specific household items that are weighing you down more than you realize. Whether it's things you've held onto out of sheer habit, outdated belongings that no longer serve you in any way, or objects that quietly add a subtle layer of stress to your daily routine, you'll discover why letting go of them can bring you an unexpected wave of relief. And more importantly, you'll learn how decluttering these items isn't about loss. It's about embracing freedom. Now, let's get started. Number 1. Worn out and unused furniture. One of the biggest culprits of household clutter, without a doubt, is old, worn-out furniture that no longer serves any purpose in your life. Over the years, it's incredibly easy to accumulate extra chairs, wobbly tables, and bulky cabinets, pieces that might have been useful at one point but now just sit there, gathering dust and taking up valuable square footage. And the truth is, holding on to furniture that is no longer functional or comfortable isn't just a physical burden. It can also create a surprising amount of unnecessary stress. Think about it: that bulky recliner shoved in the corner that no one has actually sat in for years. The oversized dining table that hasn't hosted a big family gathering since your kids were in grade school. The dresser with those infuriatingly sticky drawers that frustrate you every single time you try to open them. These things aren't adding anything positive to your life. They're just filling space, like unwelcome guests who've overstayed their welcome. And as you get older, having too much furniture can actually make your home harder to navigate, significantly increasing the risk of bumping into things, tripping, or simply feeling overwhelmed by the sheer volume of stuff. Take Michael, for example. He was a spry 74 and had lived in the same cozy little house for decades. Over the years, he'd accumulated furniture like some people collect stamps, some inherited from his parents, some purchased on a whim, some even given to him by well-meaning friends. At one point, his home felt warm and inviting. But as time relentlessly marched on, he started to notice something unsettling. Moving around his house became more of a challenge, cleaning took longer and seemed to require more effort, and certain rooms had begun to feel more like cluttered storage spaces than comfortable places to relax and unwind. It wasn't until his daughter, Sarah, visited one sunny afternoon and casually pointed out that he had 5 armchairs crammed into his small living room, only 2 of which ever actually got used, that the realization hit him like a ton of bricks. It was time for a change. So, he did something bold. He started with one room, bravely choosing to let go of the items that no longer serve a real purpose in his day-to-day life. The broken chair with the dangerously wobbly leg? Gone. The massive coffee table that made walking through the room feel like navigating an obstacle course? Out the door. And as he cleared out each piece, he felt something utterly unexpected: a profound sense of relief washed over him. His home felt more open, more inviting, and most importantly, so much easier to live in. That's the thing about furniture: when it's useful, it enhances your life immeasurably. But when it becomes nothing more than extra weight, it quietly drains your energy and makes your precious space feel cramped and cluttered. You don't need a house packed to the rafters with furniture to make it feel like home. In fact, often, the less you have, the more you truly appreciate what remains, the pieces that really matter. So, if you're holding on to furniture that's no longer serving you, ask yourself this simple but powerful question: when was the last time I actually used this? If you have to really rack your brain to remember, chances are, it's time to let it go. Because a home that's easy to move through, a breeze to clean, and a place you truly enjoy being in is far more valuable than any unused chair or table taking up precious space. Number 2. Clothes you never wear. At some point in our lives, We all find ourselves holding on to clothing we no longer wear. Maybe it's that sharp-looking suit that hasn't fit since your son's wedding 5 years ago. Perhaps it's that elegant dress you bought for a special occasion decades ago and haven't dared to try on since. Or maybe it's just a mountain of old, faded t-shirts that sit untouched in the back of your drawers, relics of a bygone era. Whatever the case, before you celebrate your 70th birthday, it's time to take a long, hard look at your wardrobe and ask yourself, do I really need all of this? Because the truth is, having a closet overflowing with clothes you never actually wear isn't just taking up valuable physical space in your bedroom. It's also adding an unnecessary layer of mental clutter to your life. Clothing has a strange way of holding on to memories. That well-worn jacket you proudly wore to a pivotal job interview. Those comfortable jeans you used to absolutely love but haven't been able to squeeze into for years. Even those dusty old shoes sitting forlornly at the bottom of your closet. You might not consciously think about them much, but they're still there, quietly occupying space and perhaps even a tiny corner of your mind. And for many people, the thought of getting rid of old clothes can feel strangely akin to letting go of a piece of the past. But here's something important to consider: your closet should be a reflection of who you are today, not a museum of who you used to be. Take Eleanor, for example. At a vibrant 72, she had a closet that was absolutely bursting at the seams with clothes, yet she only ever wore a small handful of items on a regular basis. She had elegant dresses from the 1980s that were now hopelessly out of style, stylish jackets she hadn't even touched in decades, and a collection of beautiful shoes that looked stunning but pinched her feet mercilessly every single time she tried to wear them. Every morning, she'd stand in front of her overflowing closet, feeling a wave of frustration wash over her, overwhelmed by the sheer number of choices, most of which weren't even practical or comfortable anymore. One sunny afternoon, she decided she'd finally had enough. She bravely pulled absolutely everything out of her closet and made 3 distinct piles. One pile was for the clothes she genuinely loved and actually wore on a regular basis. Another pile was for the clothes that no longer fit her comfortably or felt good against her skin. And the third pile was for those dreaded just-in-case items, the ones she was keeping for some vague, undefined future event. That last pile was undoubtedly the hardest to confront. But as she started to bravely let go of things she hadn't worn in years, a surprising realization dawned on her: she wasn't losing anything of value. In fact, she was gaining something precious: space, clarity, and a wardrobe that actually made her daily life easier and more enjoyable. That's the key when you thoughtfully declutter your clothes. You're not just getting rid of fabric. You're simplifying your daily routine. You make it so much easier to get dressed in the morning, effortless to find what you actually enjoy wearing, and ultimately, easier to move through life without unnecessary baggage, both physical and mental. And the best part? Those clothes that are just taking up space in your closet could be genuinely useful to someone else. Instead of letting them languish unworn, why not consider donating them to a local charity or someone in need? So, if your closet is currently overflowing with clothes you never wear, ask yourself the crucial question: do I really need this? If it doesn't fit, if it's uncomfortable, or if you haven't worn it in the past year, be honest with yourself. It's time to let it go. Because at this stage in your life, you wholeheartedly deserve a wardrobe that works for you, not one that weighs you down with unnecessary choices and forgotten styles. If you're still watching this video and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 2 below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, I highly recommend you do so right now and turn on that notification bell so you don't miss any of our upcoming videos filled with helpful tips and inspiring stories. Now, let's move forward to number 3. Number 3, expired medications and old toiletries. One of the most frequently overlooked forms of household clutter is something you probably have sitting in your bathroom cabinet right now: expired medications and old toiletries. These items have a sneaky way of piling up without us even consciously realizing it. Maybe it's a bottle of pain relievers from a minor injury years ago, half-used prescription medications you never quite finished, or skincare products you excitedly bought but never really ended up liking. Before you know it, your drawers and cabinets are overflowing with things you no longer use, and even worse, some of them could actually be unsafe to use. Medications have expiration dates for a very important reason. Over time, their effectiveness weakens, and in some cases, they can even undergo chemical changes that make them potentially harmful. Holding on to old prescriptions just in case might seem like a prudent idea, but the truth is, if you ever need that specific medication again, you should always consult your doctor for a fresh prescription, one that is completely up to date and appropriate for your current health needs. And yet, so many of us keep bottles of expired pills tucked away in the back of the medicine cabinet, not fully realizing that they serve absolutely no real purpose other than taking up valuable space and adding an unnecessary element of risk to our homes. Toiletries are no different in this regard. That old bottle of lotion you haven't used in years, that tube of sunscreen from who knows when that's probably lost all its protective power, that perfume you stopped wearing a decade ago because the scent no longer appeals to you, these things don't last forever. Many people are surprised to learn that skincare products and cosmetics also have expiration dates, and using them past their prime can unfortunately lead to skin irritation, allergic reactions, or even infections. And yet, we often hold on to them, thinking we'll eventually get around to using them someday. But let's be honest with ourselves, if you haven't reached for it in months, or even years, you're probably never going to. Take David, for example. He was a meticulous 75-year-old who took great pride in keeping his home neat and organized. But one afternoon, while searching for a simple bandage in his bathroom, he opened his medicine cabinet and was utterly taken aback by what he saw. It was crammed full of bottles and boxes he hadn't even touched in years. Expired painkillers from a long-forgotten backache, half-used tubes of antibiotic cream that had probably lost all their potency, and even a prescription for a medication he no longer even needed. It was all just sitting there, silently taking up space. When he finally took the time to carefully go through everything, he was genuinely shocked at how much unnecessary and potentially harmful stuff he had been keeping just in case. And as he responsibly cleared it all out, he felt a tangible sense of relief, knowing that everything left in his cabinet was actually safe, effective, and useful. That's what many people don't fully appreciate. Decluttering your medications and toiletries isn't just about tidying up your bathroom. It's fundamentally about safety, about ensuring you have what you actually need when you need it, and about bravely letting go of the unnecessary clutter that could potentially cause harm. When you clear out expired medications, you create valuable room for the ones you truly rely on. When you get rid of old, forgotten toiletries, you simplify your daily routine and ensure that everything you're using is fresh, effective, and safe for your skin. So, if you haven't thoroughly checked your medicine cabinet or bathroom drawers in a while, now is absolutely the time. Carefully look through your medications. If anything is clearly expired, dispose of it safely and responsibly. If it's a prescription you no longer need, don't just let it sit there. Find out the proper way to dispose of it in your community. And when it comes to toiletries, be brutally honest with yourself. If you haven't used it in over a year, you probably never will. Let it go and embrace the simplicity of having only what you truly need and actually use. Number 4. Old papers, documents, and unused mail. One of the most pervasive forms of clutter, yet often one of the easiest to simply ignore, is paper. Over the years, it has a relentless tendency to accumulate in untidy piles on tables, crammed into overflowing drawers, stuffed inside old folders, and even haphazardly thrown into dusty boxes stored away in the attic or basement just in case. From outdated bills and expired warranties to instruction manuals for appliances you no longer even own, the sheer amount of unnecessary paperwork lurking in most homes is truly staggering. And before you reach that significant milestone of 70, it's absolutely time to take firm control of this paper chaos. Paper clutter isn't just about taking up physical space in your home. It can actually be a significant source of hidden stress. Think about how incredibly frustrating it is to desperately search for an important document, only to have to dig through mountains of papers that should have been responsibly recycled years ago. Or consider the overwhelming feeling that creeps in when an open mail piles up precariously on the kitchen counter, constantly reminding you that you're somehow behind on something. The stark reality is that the vast majority of the papers we diligently keep are no longer necessary, and bravely letting them go can bring an unexpected and profound sense of relief. Take Jennifer, for example. At a vibrant 73, she had an entire bulky filing cabinet crammed full of documents dating back decades. Old utility bills from the early 1990s, faded receipts from long-forgotten purchases, even tax returns meticulously filed away from the 1980s papers that had been silently sitting there for years with absolutely no real reason to be kept anymore. One particularly frustrating day, as she desperately struggled to locate an important insurance document, she finally realized just how much of her accumulated paperwork was hopelessly outdated and utterly irrelevant to her current life. It took a considerable amount of time and effort, but she made a firm decision to go through absolutely everything, carefully keeping only the documents that actually held genuine importance. By the time she was finished, she had miraculously reduced her paperwork by more than half. And for the first time in years, she knew exactly where to find what she needed, without the overwhelming anxiety of sifting through years of accumulated paper. That's the incredible thing about decluttering your papers. You are not just creating more physical space in your home. You're also making invaluable space in your mind. You're freeing yourself from the subtle but persistent mental clutter that comes with constantly seeing untidy piles of mail, stacks of outdated documents, and folders overflowing with things you will realistically never need again. And the best part is that with today's readily available technology, most important records can be conveniently accessed digitally, meaning you truly don't need to keep physical copies of absolutely everything. So, how do you even begin to tackle this mountain of paper? First, sort through your paperwork with a critical and discerning eye. If it's something you haven't looked at in years, chances are incredibly high that you simply don't need it anymore. Responsibly shred old bank statements and expired contracts to protect your personal information. Recycle those instruction manuals for appliances you no longer own. Keep only the truly essential legal, financial, and medical documents, and organize them in a way that makes them easily accessible when you actually need them. And when it comes to the daily influx of mail, stop letting it pile up. Immediately toss any obvious junk mail into the recycling bin. Pay your bills promptly and file only what's absolutely necessary. Newsletters or magazines you consistently never read? Cancel those subscriptions. The ultimate goal is simple: only keep the papers that genuinely serve a current purpose in your life and bravely let go of the rest. If you're still watching this video and finding these insights incredibly valuable, please comment number 4 below to let me know you're here and that this information is resonating with you. And if you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, I strongly encourage you to do so right now and turn on that notification bell. Your support truly helps us continue creating good content that aims to inform, inspire, and empower you on your decluttering journey. Now, let's move forward to number 5. Number 5, kitchen items you never use. The kitchen, often considered the heart of the home, is also, unfortunately, one of the most prone to becoming cluttered. And over time, it's incredibly easy to accumulate a surprising number of items that serve absolutely no real purpose in your daily cooking or eating routines. Think about those cabinets overflowing with mismatched containers and lids that never seem to fit. Drawers stuffed haphazardly with utensils you haven't touched in years. Old, scratched pots and pans gathering dust in the back of cupboards. Before you celebrate your 70th birthday, it's time to bravely clear out the kitchen clutter that's making your cooking space feel more chaotic and less functional than it truly needs to be. Many people hold on to kitchen items out of sheer habit or a vague sense of obligation. Maybe it's that set of fancy china you've been meticulously saving for a special occasion that, let's face it, never quite seems to arrive. Or perhaps it's a collection of small kitchen appliances you enthusiastically bought years ago but haven't actually touched since their initial, fleeting use. You might even find yourself with 3 or 4 different versions of the exact same tool, a whole drawer dedicated to various spatulas, an excessive collection of mismatched coffee mugs, or that eternally overflowing drawer of plastic lids with absolutely no matching containers in sight. But here's the undeniable truth: a kitchen filled with unused or unnecessary items doesn't make your life easier. In fact, it often makes it significantly harder. Take Robert, for example. He was a lively 76-year-old who had happily lived in the same house for decades. Over the years, his kitchen had gradually filled up with a bewildering array of gadgets and cookware that he rarely, if ever, used. There were multiple blenders, a bulky food processor that sat untouched on a high shelf, and at least 3 different toasters vying for counter space. Plates and glasses were stacked precariously high in the cabinets, and the drawers were so crammed with tools he didn't even remember buying that they were difficult to open and close. Every time he needed a specific item, he had to embark on a frustrating treasure hunt, digging through layers of clutter just to find what he was looking for. One particularly exasperating day, after accidentally knocking over a precarious stack of unused baking sheets while desperately searching for a simple frying pan, he finally reached his breaking point. Enough was enough. So, he made a firm decision. He bravely went through his entire kitchen, one section at a time, asking himself a simple but powerful question about each item: do I actually use this on a regular basis? If the honest answer was no, he resolutely set it aside. Duplicate items? Gone. Expired spices and forgotten pantry items? Tossed. That bread maker he enthusiastically bought years ago and used exactly once? Donated. By the time he was finished with his decluttering endeavor, his kitchen felt like a completely different space, more functional, significantly more organized, and most importantly, so much easier and more enjoyable to use. And that's the fundamental key: when you bravely let go of kitchen items you never use, you create a cooking space that actively works for you, not stubbornly against you. Preparing meals becomes simpler and less stressful, cleaning up takes significantly less time and effort, and you no longer feel that sense of being overwhelmed by cluttered countertops or overflowing cabinets every time you step into your kitchen. You absolutely do not need an overflowing kitchen to prepare delicious and nutritious meals. You just need the essential tools and cookware that you actually use and love. So, take a good, honest look around your kitchen right now. Open your cabinets, check those drawers, and ask yourself the crucial question: when was the last time I genuinely used this? If it's been years, if it's simply collecting dust, if it's something you're only keeping just in case for some vague, undefined future, then it's definitely time to let it go. Because a kitchen filled with only what you actually use isn't just easier to manage. It makes your daily life smoother, more efficient, and significantly more enjoyable. Number 6. Sentimental items that no longer serve you. This is often the most emotionally challenging category to declutter: sentimental items. Old letters tied with faded ribbons, heartfelt gifts from loved ones who may no longer be with us, cherished souvenirs from memorable past vacations, or dusty boxes filled with tangible memories from different decades of your life. These things carry significant emotional weight, and that's precisely why so many people understandably struggle to let them go. But here's a crucial point to consider before you reach the age of 70. It's incredibly important to honestly ask yourself whether these sentimental objects are genuinely bringing you joy and comfort, or if they are simply taking up valuable space and perhaps even subtly weighing you down emotionally. Many people hold on to sentimental items because they feel a deep sense of guilt at the mere thought of letting them go. A thoughtful gift from a beloved relative who has sadly passed away. A thick stack of heartfelt greeting cards from birthdays long ago. Precious childhood keepsakes from your own children or grandchildren. These tangible items remind us of important people and significant moments in our lives, but they can also become overwhelmingly burdensome when they start to relentlessly pile up, taking over drawers, shelves, and even entire rooms. The profound truth is that memories don't actually reside within physical objects. They lie vibrantly within you, in your heart and mind. And keeping an excessive amount of sentimental clutter doesn't truly honor the past. Instead, it often makes your present life feel more cluttered, more difficult to manage, and perhaps even a little bit sad. Take Margaret, for example. At a warm and wise 78, she had been carefully holding on to countless boxes upon boxes of old letters, travel souvenirs, and various keepsakes from different stages of her rich and full life. When she decided to downsize and move into a smaller, more manageable home, she was confronted with the stark reality of just how much she had accumulated, an entire storage unit filled to the brim with things she hadn't even looked at in years. At first, the very idea of getting rid of any of it felt utterly impossible, like she was being asked to discard pieces of her own history. What if she somehow forgot the precious memories attached to those items? What if letting go felt like erasing a part of her own life story? But then, she experienced a significant shift in her perspective. Instead of feeling obligated to hold on to absolutely everything, she started to be more selective and discerning. She thoughtfully kept a few truly meaningful items that sparked genuine joy and vivid memories, her cherished wedding album, a small handful of particularly heartfelt letters from beloved family members, a small, carefully curated collection of souvenirs that still made her smile every time she looked at them. The rest? She bravely decided to let go. She thoughtfully donated items that could still be useful and appreciated by others. She took beautiful photographs of some of the larger items she wanted to remember but didn't necessarily need to keep physically. And as she went through this process of mindful letting go, she felt something completely unexpected, a profound sense of liberation and relief washed over her. That's what many people don't fully realize about decluttering sentimental items. It doesn't mean forgetting the past or diminishing its importance. Instead, it means consciously making space in your present life to fully enjoy the memories without being weighed down by an overwhelming amount of physical stuff. It means thoughtfully keeping the very best and bravely letting go of the rest. And ultimately, it means choosing to surround yourself with the things that genuinely bring you happiness and peace in your daily life, rather than feeling burdened by objects that simply take up space and perhaps even stir up feelings of sadness or nostalgia. So, if you've been holding on to sentimental items that have become more of a burden than a blessing, take a quiet moment to reflect. Do you truly need to keep every single letter, every single souvenir, every single childhood keepsake to vividly remember the people and experiences that have shaped you into the wonderful person you are today? Or can you lovingly hold on to those precious memories in your heart and mind while simultaneously freeing up valuable space and energy in your home? Because at this stage in your life, the most truly valuable things aren't the ones silently collecting dust in boxes. They are the ones that bring you genuine peace, comfort, and joy every single day. If you're still watching this video and finding these insights incredibly valuable, please comment number 6 below to let me know you're engaged and finding this helpful. And if you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, I wholeheartedly recommend you do so right now and turn on that notification bell. Your support truly helps us continue creating good content that aims to inform, inspire, and empower you on your journey towards a more decluttered and fulfilling life. Final thoughts: as we gently wrap up this video, please take a quiet moment to reflect on the 6 specific household items we've discussed. Remember, decluttering before you turn 70 isn't just about the superficial act of making more physical space in your home. It's about consciously creating a living environment that feels lighter, easier to manage, and more deeply in tune with the vibrant and fulfilling life you still want to live. Each item you thoughtfully decide to let go of isn't a loss. It's a positive step towards greater simplicity, increased clarity, and a profound sense of inner peace. What stood out to you the most in today's discussion? Which of these 6 types of items do you readily recognize in your own home? Perhaps you've already bravely started the process of letting go of that worn-out furniture that no longer serves you. Maybe you've had a dawning realization about how much easier your mornings would be without the overwhelming clutter of unworn clothes. Or perhaps this video has given you a fresh perspective on the hidden burdens of old papers, unused kitchen gadgets, or sentimental objects that no longer bring you genuine joy. Or maybe this video has simply given you a new and empowering perspective on the true meaning of decluttering, that it's not just about tidying up things. It's fundamentally about embracing greater freedom in your life. We would absolutely love to hear from you. Please leave a thoughtful comment below and share just one key thing you learned from today's video and how you plan to use this newfound insight in your own life. Your thoughts and experiences are incredibly important to us, so please don't hesitate to share them. Reading your comments truly gives us great motivation and encouragement to continue creating content that resonates with you. If you thoroughly enjoyed this video and found it genuinely helpful, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel for more empowering content, and share it with anyone you think might benefit from these insights. Your support truly helps us continue creating good content that aims to inform, inspire, and empower you on your journey towards a more organized and fulfilling life. Thank you so much for watching, and we eagerly look forward to seeing you in our next video. Valuable lesson. The most valuable lesson we can take away from this discussion is that decluttering, especially as we approach our later years, is not merely about tidying up our physical spaces. It's a powerful act of self-care and a conscious step towards creating a more peaceful, manageable, and joyful life. By letting go of the excess that no longer serves us, we free up not only physical space but also mental and emotional energy, allowing us to focus on what truly matters and to fully embrace the present moment.